And just like that, we're live wherever you're watching from. Thanks so much for joining, everybody. It is time for the show, and I'm your host, David Burrows, here live in Sarnia, Ontario, Canada. I say it that way because we're simulcasting all over the world. We are now connected and very excited to be simulcasting in 7 different countries. Yes, we are in Australia right now, United Kingdom, South Africa, all through the United States. Where else we got in there? United Kingdom. I think Nigeria and Ireland are in there as well. So we're broadcasting to the world. And one of the great things about broadcasting to the world and my vision here with the show, one of my visions with the show is to connect not just the people in Sarnia-Lambton and promote what's happening here in Sarnia-Lambton and my great place that I live, but to connect other communities around the world so we can learn from each other, see what each other's doing. I've made friends all over the world. I'm going on a trip in December, and I'm going to get to meet some of them in person for the first time. How cool is that? So if you're here, you never know what you might learn. And some great people are always here. And I really look forward. Some people get up on Monday and they go, it's Monday. Me, I get up and I go, I wonder who I'm going to talk to today, right? So we've always got some great guests here. And we got 3 great guests. Well, 3 different groups here, but we've got more than 3 guests. We got a party going on here today on the show. So kick back, relax, get your coffee or whatever you can do. If you're watching from work, don't tell the boss. Just be ready to click that button in case you're supposed to be working or something. All right, let's get started with some things here. Now that you can see me, right? Because, see, I didn't click the button. Now you can see me. I did all that talking. Should we just start over? Doesn't matter. Welcome to the show, everybody. And I had the privilege to be out over the weekend. I was down at the Bad Dog in Sarnia. Delicious, yummy burgers. Hello, check it out. And lots of great people down there. Jason Winter was hosting us down there. The Alzheimer's Society was there, and they're having their coffee break campaign for this month. Is happening. They got a special couple days coming up, and it started off at the Bad Dog in Sarnia this past Friday for First Friday. Did you go to the First Friday? Hello, lots to do. But we were down at the Bad Dog, and I talked to a couple of folks from the Alzheimer's Society. So when you go into the Bad Dog, you can donate $2, and you get a coffee cup that goes up on the wall. I was there. My friend Al Duffy was there, and Sarah Woodley from the Fox was there. So stop into the Bad Dog, and they've got I'm trying to remember now. It's called the Happy Helper. I think that's what it's delicious. That's the drink of the month, and proceeds from that also going to support the Alzheimer's Society here in Sarnia-Lambton. Bad Dog was a great place to have it. There's some personal reasons there. Jason Winter said I could mention that. So his father had a journey with Alzheimer's and recently passed, and now they're giving back a lot to Alzheimer's Society because of that. So stop down at the Bad Dog, have some lunch, give them a toonie, support the Alzheimer's Society. What else can I tell you, right? There's going to more be coming up on September 21st, I believe. We'll be out live with the Alzheimer's group throughout different parts of the city and beyond, actually. So we'll talk about that coming up in a couple of weeks. This is always a tough topic. And some people don't even like to say the word. Suicide. Sometimes it rolls off our tongue and we kind of it's a hard word to say, I guess. It's usually a big struggle that went along with it, and it's awkward. But it is something that needs to be talked about. It's no secret that these things need to be discussed. And today is World Suicide Awareness Day. Did you know that? Now you do if you're watching. It's good that you know. And it's good to have the conversations, right? I've always been a true believer in if it feels like an awkward conversation, it's probably one you need to have. It's just the way it is. So tonight at Skits, part of the Sarnia Speaks initiative and the Sarnia-Lambton Suicide Committee supporting, there will be a conversation, I guess, and a panel, a discussion about suicide and how we can do our best to prevent it. Crap, wasn't going to do that, but it's hard, right? But you got to do it. You got to talk about it, because if you don't, well, you're going to feel better talking about it. You're going to get out there, and who knows who can help you with it. So do what you got to do to get down to Skits Auditorium tonight, 6 o'clock. The doors open. And 6:30, it will begin. And Danielle Cooper, who has been the lead initiative for Sarnia Speaks, super, super proud of her. She has taken giant leaps of faith in putting Sarnia Speaks together. Go follow her on Instagram. She constantly shares her own story. And she's brought it to this point here tonight, and she's got lots of community support. And we need to keep continuing to support the Sarnia Speaks initiative. We need to talk about this tonight, right? So if you can be there, be there. And if you can't be there tonight, get ready. I believe it's September 26th for the next Sarnia Speaks called Me Too. Reach out to Danielle Cooper on Facebook. She'll connect with you somehow. All right. So I know I'm being a bit of a downer guy right now, but it's just super. I just feel really strongly about it. It's really important. So, okay. All right. Okay, Dave. Happier thing to talk about, though. I've often said sometimes when somebody wins a prize, they'd say, boy, you'd think that guy won the golden ticket to the Willy Wonka factory. Who wouldn't want to go to the Willy Wonka factory? I can still see Gene Wilder doing the flip at the start. Okay, I'm dating myself. But there's Willy Wonka Jr., and part of the Sarnia-Lambton Rebound Initiative has put this together, and it starts September 13th down at the Imperial Theater. Another amazing organization that supports youth in our community. Super important. I talk about them all the time because I really believe in what they're doing. And I know some of the young kids that are involved in this performance. It's only $12. It should be $30 because I know how much work goes into putting on this productions, and the Imperial Theater space that's down there alone is way worth more than $20 for sitting in a seat, but it's only $20 or $12. Should be $20, $30, $50. I don't know. Get out there and support them. It's only $12. Starts September 13th. You can go online to theimperialtheater.net to get your tickets, or go downtown to their box office, open till 5 o'clock every day, except for lunch. They got a break for lunch. They got to eat, you know. Anyway, imperialtheater.net, and Willy Wonka Jr. starting September 13th. I'm excited to be going to it, so maybe we'll see you there. You like music? You like jazz and blues? It's going to be happening once again, Jazz and Blues in the Village over at McGibbon Park. I believe it's their 15th year, something like that. And jazz and blues, what could go wrong? You're going to have a whole lot of fun down there, and supporting the Sarnia-Oregon, say that 5 times fast, David. Sarnia-Oregon Donor Awareness Society here in Sarnia-Lambton. Jazz and blues, whole lot of fun down there. You can get tickets right down at the door. Scotiabank, I think, has tickets. They're around town. So get out and have some fun with jazz and blues coming up this weekend for sure. I can't be there. I'm kind of bummed I can't be there, but I was there last year. Great time, jazz and blues. If you want some other great music, though, as well, the Live Music Cafe happens at the Foursquare Church on Telford Street, 207 Telford, I believe it is. They do this every month. I haven't been in a while, but the Sisters of Soul are always there, and it fills up pretty quickly. So get there early. Get there like 4 in the afternoon. It starts at 7:30. Get there early is what I'm trying to say. Sisters of Soul. And you never know who's going to show up there. The times I've been there, some great local musicians just show up, and you never know what happens in that Foursquare Church. It's wonderful music and great people around there. So if you love the music, if you don't play, just stop on by and have a good time. Say hello to the Sisters of Soul for me, right? Okay, Live Music Cafe again, 207 Telford Street here in Sarnia. The Four Barrel Blues Band is going to be playing this Saturday down at Patty Flaherty's. Had these guys on the show before. Chris Tenniskins and his group are awesome. Seen them play down at Cheeky Monkey for First Fridays. They do a fantastic job. And still, there's nothing to do in Sarnia? Really? Come on. You got to get off your couch and do something. I keep hearing that. It drives me crazy. Folks, I've been doing a show for 7 years about what there is to do in Sarnia. So get out and go see somebody. Get down to Patty Flaherty's and see the Four Barrel Blues Band. They are a lot of fun. Transportation Day. What could that possibly be about? I'm in a funny mood today. Transportation Day is about transportation, part of the age-friendly steering committee initiative here in Sarnia, and one of the elements of the age-friendly initiative, Transportation Day. Some of us take that transportation for granted. You have a car, you have an e-bike, maybe a bicycle. There are others that need to use the bus system and maybe need special buses and special transportation to get out and do their shopping, or lots of reasons that we take advantage of our transportation. It's really important part of the Age Friendly Initiative. And Bill Yurchuk's going to be joining us here on the show in a couple of weeks to talk about Transportation Day and its importance. And I think it's one of those things too where, a lot of times, even like, well, Alzheimer's was a good example, until it happens to you and you don't really know the services are available because you didn't need them, right? So this is a good way to get out and educate yourself. And, oftentimes we have to have these services to help out maybe moms and dads and whatnot. So we'll be talking about that coming up in a couple of weeks. I want to give a shout out to our friends at the United Way Sarnia-Lambton. Dave Brown will be joining us once a month here to talk about the different things that are going on with them. I believe they have they got a special event coming up this weekend. I forget what it's called, a day. Anyway, Dave Brown will be talking. He was here last week talking to us, and he'll be joining us once a month to talk about 34, 35 different organizations that they support here in Sarnia-Lambton. And the great thing about that, all the money stays here in Sarnia-Lambton. And Dave talked about a payroll deduction program that they have. So you can donate money. And you know what? Once you do that, deduct it off your pay, you don't even notice it, right? $5, $10, whatever dollars. They do a lot here. So we'll be looking forward to having David join us once a month here on the show. All right. Talk about needing help. It's not easy to find a job, right? And if you have some special needs, it can probably, it can be even tougher, I would imagine, right? But there is help out there for that. And there's lots of ways to, I don't even know what a resume looks like anymore because it's been so long since I've done one. But, it can be as simple as needing help with that. Where do you look for a job? And I guess, what do you qualify for? Anyway, we've got the people that have all those answers, the Workplace Group. And they're going to be joining us here right now. First up, we've got Noeleen Tyczynski. And she's smiling and she says, "Hi, David."
Hi, Dave. Thanks for the invitation to join you today.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. And by the way, kudos, you have a new IT person that works at the Workplace Group. Did you know that?
She's putting that on her resume. Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully she's not going to use it to go elsewhere.
Jenna is, she was fantastic. I know we'll be talking to her, but make sure you give her a big pat on the back for suffering through working this out for you today.
That falls under all other duties as
That's right. There's no more pay, no higher increase in pay, but you just get more duties. Awesome.
And bragging rights. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Jenna and I got to know each other quite well in that hour and a half. Noeleen, thanks for being here. I know you're all very busy. But I think it's important that we talk about the Workplace Group, and you're the executive director. Tell everybody, I guess, exactly what you do specifically, and then what the workplace is all about.
Well, I've had the privilege of working for this organization for many years, and my responsibility is the stuff in the background. It's not the fun stuff, the more the administrative role, that sort of thing. But we have such an amazing team of our staff is fantastic. Everybody works together collaboratively. And our goal is to really support individuals who are trying to facilitate their way through the maze of finding a job, re-entering the workplace. For some individuals, perhaps they've had an injury or an illness, and they have to really look at what's a new normal for them. So our staff, tons of professionalism here, lots of experience, and we help facilitate that change in an individual's life.
Yeah, and that's, I like how you described that. You used the word maze. Like I said, I know for me, I've been self-employed a long time, but I think about when I was looking for work, where do you go? Where do you look? What's appropriate? I helped my kids with some resumes not too long ago, and it's like, no, you don't make them like that anymore. It's all there's a lot going on to look for work.
There is, and it's very overwhelming. When we have individuals that come into us needing help, the first thing we do, Dave, is sit down and we do a personal assessment, and we look at a holistic approach to job search because it's different for everybody. We don't have a cookie cutter approach.
Yeah,
and
right.
It's really important that we take into consideration the individual values and attributes and concerns and needs that everybody has in their job search. So we're well connected with a lot of social service agencies. Some of the organizations you were talking about prior to, like with your prelude,
Right.
all the United Way agencies, we work very closely with Rebound and the Hub.
Right.
Our clients have transportation issues. I mean, it just goes on and on. So we see ourselves as just one piece of the puzzle, and we have a big responsibility to ensure we keep on top of all the programs and services in our community to keep clients well connected.
Yeah. And the challenge, I guess, too, sometimes like you're dealing with people with special needs, but that could happen to a person overnight, right? Like, I mean, you could be like, life could be great, and you could all of a sudden have an accident, and just like that. Do you deal with that a lot, like immediate change?
Absolutely. It could be a number of life circumstances. It could be the death of a spouse. It could be a marital breakdown or a relationship breakdown. It could be having a spouse maybe move to a different area. And we don't just deal with clients that have disabilities. Like any job seeker can come in and come to us for support and assistance. But it is very challenging if the reason for the change isn't something that you've implemented yourself.
Right. And I guess there would be some emotional change going on there too, when something dramatic happens, or I guess even just looking for that could be stressful, right? Do you have to handle some of that in it as well?
Oh, that's a daily occurrence with staff. So, I mean, our role is to try to ensure that clients feel as comfortable as possible. And our mantra really is put yourself on the other side of the table. What would you need if that was you sitting in that place? So,
Mhm.
simple things could be food, warmth, shelter. If that's not present in a person's life, how are they expected to be successful in the work environment? For others, it may be maybe we need to refer to another provider who can support them, maybe with a support group for bereavement or whatever the case may be. That doesn't mean the job search stops. It just means
Right.
that we want to ensure that if there's a barrier in place, we're putting those particular supports in place to help them overcome those barriers.
Mhm. There must be people must run into limitations to go, okay, like I have special needs now, so I mean, there's already a limited amount of jobs, period, and now that window just got even narrower, doesn't it?
Well, again, income support is really important. So we want to ensure that an individual can have a roof over their head. And
Yeah.
we would maybe make a referral to an income support organization such as Ontario Works or ODSP.
Okay.
But honestly, we really get to people have working with people to get them to look at a new normal,
Right.
and it's really important that we give clients a positive experience and small successes so they can really learn how to be independent. And I think we have great success here. Again, we have a tremendous team that is really client centric. Everything we do is focused around the client. And it's important for us to always think outside the box and try to be creative.
So there's a lot, and I've been down to the office. It's a busy place, and you've got a lot of services available there. This costs money, and you guys offer these services are free that you offer, right?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
So government's in there, or fundraising, or how do you pay for all this stuff?
Yeah, so we're very fortunate. We're a not-for-profit registered charity, and we have two contracts with provincial government agencies, one being the Ministry of Community and Social Services, and the other the Ministry of Advanced Education and Skills Development. And our organization's been in this community since 1976. So we have a long history of success working with both job seekers and employers. So one of our clients, we look at the job seeker, but our clients are also businesses who are looking to hire and onboard people. So we support those individuals in our community as well.
Right. Well, that's good. I guess, you must have to promote yourself too. I mean, obviously we've got you here. That's great. But do you get the word out publicly, or is that just kind of interlinked with, the other agencies that you're dealing with?
Well, we try to again be creative. There's limited resources. We want to really put our dollars into direct client services.
Yeah.
Social media, what we're doing today is a great way for us to get the word out, working with individuals like yourself and having different platforms. Word of mouth, probably most of our referrals come from clients who've had success with us, maybe a family member or a friend or a colleague. Social media is, we don't see a lot of print media anymore, but we spread the word however we can.
Yeah, very good. I know we're going to move on and talk to a couple other people, but just before you go, I got a lovely picture of you right here. I didn't tell you I was going to do that, did I?
You didn't.
This is Pinfolk, right? And this is something that, talk about what that is.
Well, our new IT person, Jenna, is actually going to spend some time talking about Pinfolk.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll come back to that then.
I don't want to steal her thunder, but
I got you.
It's an initiative that we're really proud of, and it's a way to recognize some great community leaders.
Okay,
who
fantastic.
don't even know they're leaders. Yeah.
Right, gotcha. Well, the best part is when I talk to Jenna, I get to put your picture up again.
There you go.
Are we going to talk to her now, or are we talking to Sharon? What direction we take?
I'm going to move on and let Sharon take over. And
Okay.
Sharon Krause is our lead job developer here at the workplace, and she's going to have give you some insight into working with clients with a disability in our ODSP program.
All right, sounds good. Noeleen, thanks so much.
Thanks for the opportunity, Dave.
You're welcome. See, I told you we're having a party here today. We brought everybody in. Hi, Sharon. How are you doing today?
Great, Dave. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. I guess you're getting kind of a coffee break doing this, I suppose.
Yeah, this is super. I get to watch in the background. It's wonderful.
Yeah. So you're the job placement consultant.
Yes.
So that's a pretty obvious title, but kind of explain a little more in detail what you're doing.
Sure, absolutely. Through job development, we liaise between the employer and the job seeker, which is ultimately our client. So we're out there in the community working with wonderful businesses. We're an extension of their HR department, really. A lot of small to medium businesses. Job recruitment is a big undertaking for them. It's expensive, it's time consuming, and we can offer all of that for the employer free. So we'll meet with employers, find out what their employment needs are, their recruitment needs, and then we can become a part of that team and bringing the right people to them, which is ultimately the clients that we're working with.
Right. So there must be a lot of relationship building that you go through to, I guess if I was an employer working with you, I really kind of want to know you, and relationships are always important, but that's a big part of what you're doing then too.
It is, absolutely. And the relationship, like with what we do, we have two clients. I have the employer as one client and their needs, and I have clients who are the job seekers. So relationship building is everything. We're about finding the right match for the employer, hopefully diversifying their workforce if they're looking at expanding it and maybe hiring a person that might have a disability. Or it could be assisting an employer today on a small scale, and later on as they grow, they continue to use services.
Yeah. Okay. What would be some of the challenges though? There's no such thing as a perfect world, especially when, you're dealing with the toughest product on the planet Earth, which is people.
Right.
There's got to be challenges that come with that.
It's very rewarding as we move forward with working with clients, both the employers and the clients that access services. As Noeleen said, we're client-centric. So it's about what the employer is needing, and it's about what the job seeker can bring and what is important to them. A lot of the clients that access services, we have a no wrong door policy. Anyone can access services. With job development, I could be doing very hands-off kind of recruiting for the employer, more vetting and sending the best candidates forward, or I can be actually assisting them more with job creation and supporting clients into that employment. So we're all hands on deck here, and that's part of the ODSP employment supports piece that I know Noeleen wanted me to mention.
Right. Yeah, that's fantastic. In talking with Noeleen and you, the other day, even in the office, and yeah, I've kind of done a little bit of research and been around there a couple of times. It's a welcoming place that you're at too, which I guess is important because, it can be intimidating to go out into this world of the unknown. How do I find a job?
Absolutely. Everybody that's coming through the door has a story. And
Yeah.
we want to really get to know the client. With some individuals, they haven't worked for many years. They're feeling that employment might be something that they would like to have in their life.
Right.
And
Okay.
we have to work towards getting them job ready. What's realistic? What is going to work for them? With the clients in particular that may be on ODSP, employment supports, they don't realize that they can make earnings and we can assist them with getting them job ready. That's not always just the very next day. The process can be quite ongoing by getting them job ready through workshops, employment consulting, working with us in the job development end of things,
Yeah.
marketing them on their behalf,
Hmm.
and then assisting them with either job coaching, training, all sorts of supports that go right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
There's so much work that gets done from behind the scenes.
Yeah. I guess you could. I always told my kids, they hated me because I repeated it all the time. Your job is to get a job, and it's a job. It's work to do that, right? Like if you're not working and you need to find employment, I guess you could make that your 40-hour work week pretty easily from everything, all the pieces of the puzzle that have to go together to getting to that end result.
Absolutely. And you had said earlier about how people don't know how to access services until they fall into it. And that happens a lot with job seekers. It is a very lonely thing to do. It can be very isolating. And in particular, if a person has a disability, there could be some challenges around the self-marketing piece.
Sure.
So that's where we can be very involved with the client and getting them where they need to be and getting them job ready. We stay attached to our clients, in particular if they're ODSP employment supported clients. We're attached to their employment for 33 months, which means I'm meeting with them monthly, helping them with their reporting. Then we're also finding out, how's that employment piece going? It's one thing to get a job, it's another thing to keep a job.
Right.
Sometimes the
Gotcha.
employment maintenance is the hardest part, right? Where
Yeah.
we will be attached to them and we will offer the employer and that client the supports that they require as we're working towards ultimately competitive employment is what it's about.
Fantastic. Well, it's a long-term relationship, obviously, which is good, and that's money and everything goes along with it. But that keyword support that's in there, I know you guys, that's really important. And as you said, pretty rewarding working where you're at. Right. You must, those relationships, you must get a kind of emotional attachment sometime and you share the victories.
Absolutely. And that's the big piece. That's what we're really lucky to work as a team here because we're all supportive of each other. But the clients that come in and share with us their stories, their successes, and their thank yous to us. We get a lot of thank yous.
Well,
and that's pretty rewarding in work. You don't always get that.
You don't get that all the time. Well, good to you guys for creating the team down there and working together. Sharon, I got to move on to Jenna. I got some more guests waiting too. But thanks so much for your time today. I'm sure I'll be seeing you again.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Team brings it all together, right? And here's the new IT girl down at the workplace group. She had those struggles of you need some new computers down there, Noeleen. Just saying. I'm putting my bid in for you.
Perfect.
How you doing, Jenna?
Good.
Long time no see.
Yeah, I know, right? Like an hour?
Yeah. So you're what's your title? You're an employment consultant as well?
I'm an employment consultant, and then I also help out in the job development. And then I'm also the coordinator of the PinFolk initiative. So I get to do all that. So
well, let's talk about that. We've just got a few minutes left here before we move on to Paula. But the PinFolk, what is that?
So it was around the time that Sarnia-Lambton was changing their brand to Discoveries That Matter. We decided that we wanted to discover people that matter. And so it can be people that are making Sarnia-Lambton a better, safer, more enriched place to live and work. So it can be the crossing guard that's making sure those kids get, safely across the street. Or
Right.
it can be, I've pinned even full committees before, or just
Oh,
people that are just doing amazing things. Actually, I'm going to do a shout out to them because it is World Suicide Prevention Day. It was
go
the
for it.
Sarnia-Lambton Suicide Prevention Committee that I actually pinned. So I'll just
Oh,
shout
great.
out that. Yes. And then we actually had our 100th pin back in December. So that actually went to Noelle's gift. And so we wanted to give something that was a little bit of a different takeaway for how we were going to recognize them. And we've
Right.
actually donated a bench it's just down on Front and George, right by the waterfront. And we have a bench, and it actually has, this is the pin. And on the back,
Okay.
it has this here.
I'm going to put you in full screen mode there. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. And so it's, if you want, I can read it because that's what
sure,
the
absolutely.
plaque says. I could
Sure.
probably rehearse it word for word because I said it so many times, but
Go for it.
okay. All too often we rush through life and fail to stop and appreciate the contributions of the people who are at the heart of our community. People who daily, through their jobs or action, make Sarnia-Lambton a better, safer, and more enriched place to live and work. These are kindred spirits, and we recognize them with our pin folk. So
That's
normally,
cool.
yeah. So I usually would read that to people before I pin them.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and then that's when they get pinned.
Well, I was at an event. I don't know if I think it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I ran into Noeleen, actually, and our relationship began there. And, I saw some people in the room that I recognized. I mean, some are more visible than others, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw some people and I'm like, don't even know who that person is, right? And I guess that's kind of the point, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times there's people that we don't see, like you said. We
Yeah.
probably drive by that crossing guard every day. Don't have a clue who that person is, right? So how did this get started? And how do you choose? Is there nominations, or do you guys kind of just put your heads together and see who you recognize?
Oh, it was actually Noeleen. She was driving to work one day and saw the crossing guard. It was freezing cold out that day. And this crossing guard had a big giant smile on his face because he knew that he was there to make sure those kids got to school. And it's just those little things, right? So she brought it to a meeting and we just kind of went from there, really, of how we were going to develop it and how we wanted to recognize people. It has changed a little bit. Before we used to surprise them. Now I actually will just do like a contact email instead of like showing up where they work or showing up like where they're volunteering.
Right, freaking them out a little bit.
Right?
Some people are shy. Some people
Because-
like, I don't need to be thanked.
Yes,
I know. I hear you.
exactly. So now I usually will send them an email and then I will kind of arrange a time from there.
That's
Our
fantastic.
nominations come from either inside the agency. It can be from people outside, and then everyone that gets pinned gets to nominate someone. So it's a little bit of a pay it forward that way as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And they can nominate more than one person. If someone's like, I can't choose between these 3 people that I know that are amazing.
I love everybody. I want to pick them all.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Awesome. Well, Jenna, thanks so much. We're running out of time here. I got Paula waiting patiently here in the lobby for my next guest. But thanks for getting everybody on track here today. I feel like we bonded somewhat ourselves, you and I.
Yeah, for sure.
You'll have that story to tell when you get home for dinner tonight.
Yeah,
for sure,
that's
right?
right.
Awesome. Well, thanks again. And thank you, Noeleen and Sharon. I know you're probably still in the background there somewhere. Thanks for all that you guys do down at the Workplace Group.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. Bye now.
See you later.
All right, there you go, the Workplace Group. Great ladies down there. I've popped in a few times to talk to them, and very welcoming down there. Like I say, it can be really scary, especially if life changes and you've got special needs. Where do I go? What do I do? Who do I talk to? I can't imagine the overwhelmness. Overwhelmness? Is that a word? It is now. So anyway, if you want to find out more about them, there's their phone number on the screen, and of course their website. We'll be posting this and their phone number and their links on Facebook after the show, so you can find out more about them. Thanks again, ladies, for joining us. All right. Whew, there's lots to talk about. And my friend is well, I have lots of friends, but my good friend Paula, she's sticking her tongue. Did you stick your tongue out at me, really? Did you just do that?
No,
You did.
never. You have proof?
I do.
Oh, darn.
I don't know if I do or not. Paula, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks so much for joining me again today. It's probably been a couple of months, I guess, right? We had you on the show before, and we get you back here often because you got so much going on, and it's great that you got lots going on because there's a big need out there. And right now, whoops, I don't know where she went. Let's try that again. Sorry, you dropped out and now you're back.
Yeah, it keeps freezing on me. I don't know why.
Ruh-roh. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month.
It is.
Yeah. I think, and you and I have talked before that it's usually when we say the word cancer, we tend to think adult. We
Yep.
sort of kind of leave that out of there, right?
We-
But there's
Either
lots
it's that
affected
scary
by this
word.
show. Yeah.
It's that scary word. We never want to actually admit that a child has it, but there's many of them. And we have many services and tons of research that is happening when it comes to childhood cancer.
Yeah. What are the numbers, or do you know, like, as far as
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I forgot to
yeah.
look it up. So
that's good.
it
It doesn't
is,
matter.
in my opinion, there's way too many diagnosed, even if they, so many more survivors
one
now
too
than there
many,
ever
right?
was. But it's, there should never be a child diagnosed with cancer.
Well, nobody for that matter, but yeah, I couldn't agree with you more specifically there.
Yep.
So you're going to be out doing some things in September to promote this?
So September is, yes, it's Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, but here in Sarnia-Lambton, we kind of flip-flop. So
Okay.
in the end of September, we're actually out hitting the streets for our pink ribbon sales. So it's
Yeah.
kind of backwards. We should technically go out the first weekend of October with those, but we do not want to compete against the Scouts and their Apple Days. So
that's thoughtful.
yeah, so we try to stay away from that. So we actually hold a grand event for childhood cancer research in October. So it's kind of
Right.
flippy floppy, but they all
Okay.
get supported.
Well, you know what? I think it's really, you put some consideration into that for the Scouts. I think that's a really neat idea, right? So are you talking about is this the
So
walk and run?
we've got tons going on. You know, we've always got tons going on.
Yeah,
So
well, let's talk about it.
in September, the weekend of the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, you'll see our volunteers hitting the streets throughout Sarnia-Lambton to do pink ribbon sales.
Okay.
And then this event, the Taking Steps Against Breast Cancer Walk and Run, it was in Sarnia-Lambton probably about 10, 15 years ago. And with the CIBC Run for the Cure not happening in Sarnia any longer, we wanted to jump on board and get another pink event happening.
Okay.
And that is on October 14th. So we're always looking for participants. This event is different than relay. So all those ones that people that kind of get overwhelmed that they think relay so, time consuming, this one
Yeah.
is not. It's a pay a
Okay.
registration fee, come out and have fun.
All
But
right.
the
And
childhood cancer.
what's the
Go ahead.
registration fee?
$30 for an adult and $10 for the kids.
It's cheap.
You get a shirt, you get food, and entertainment.
Oh, what's the entertainment?
Jaga Entertainment's going to come and do some DJ work for us.
Gord?
No,
Is
wait a
he-
minute. Nope. He's doing flavors and favors. It's
Oh,
actually
okay.
Dean Holtz. Dean Holtz is coming.
Oh,
and
Dean.
doing
Okay. All
entertainment
right.
for
But
us.
I like Jaga Gord. I've known him. Well, I guess I'll see him at Flavors of Favor. We'll talk about that.
Yep. So many
That's great.
events, so little time.
How do you keep it all in that head of yours?
I don't. I have to go. Hey, what did I ask you for? Which event? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
all
you've, I got to give you some credit. You know, you'll probably blush a little bit. You do a fantastic job, Pollock, because you have such, like, it's just you around, right?
Yeah. Myself and Caroline.
Yeah. So your team is like this big.
Yep. And then we
And
share a
you work-
manager with 3 offices.
Yeah. And you work so hard and you put your passion into it. And you every time you just bring life to it all. And
thank you.
I just want to say, good job. Way to go. 'Cause
Thank you.
It's really
And I
important.
think you and I just don't cross paths in my business life. I mean, I also know how to give back, not just, I mean, more than beyond work. You've seen me at other community events, volunteering.
Absolutely.
Or not the Canadian Cancer Society. So you've seen that no matter what I believe in, I'm passionate about it and I'll give it
That's
our
right.
all. And I just get paid. I get paid for this one. It's awesome.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, it is awesome because I have seen you at so many different events, and I think it's important for people. I think everybody should be giving something back to their community, loudly or quietly, whatever. But every little part. If you think a tiny little thing can't make a difference, try sitting in a room by yourself with one mosquito.
Well, I come from a long line of volunteers, of volunteerism, and I will be darned if my child isn't going to learn from my role modeling that she needs to give back to her. She maybe has been giving back since she was in kindergarten. So, so if someone says they can't, they don't have time, they're too young, they're too old, I say, because it's important. Things don't happen without volunteering.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I've done the best I can to teach my children that. And I've met your daughter. She's awesome. She's a wonderful young lady, and she's doing great. So that's fantastic. All right, so we got the walk and run happening on October 14th, and then coming up next after that, then we got the flavors and favors.
You got her. I'm so excited. We are actually, so we had to move. This is our 4th year. But it is our 2nd year in Sarnia for this event. And last year we raised $13,000.
That's crazy.
So as Caroline, as I said it, a hefty one, but $20,000. And some of the items that are coming in are unbelievable that are going to be up for auction. And people can watch our Facebook page. We're posting every day things that are going up for live auction. And thank you to you. When we're sitting in that room with all of the guests, I mean, nobody walks out of there without bidding on something. And we have our pediatric cancer survivors there too, which puts a face to what we're doing.
Yeah, and I know some of the young folks that are there, right? Yeah. Who last year, it gets emotional sometimes in that room. The strength that these young kids have is just outstanding. And
what you can learn from them. Like you heard Kelsey's, her speech last year, and she's just motivating, and cancer is it's part of my journey. It is what it is. And, but the honesty and the integrity and the passion that this is my life. And, I met with one survivor a few months ago, and her thing was, thank you, cancer. She said, I never would have met such kind-hearted people. And also to find the kindness within me without going along this journey. Yeah.
Isn't that something?
You meet individuals.
Turn it into a positive, right?
Well, Tyler McGregor, isn't he? He was a good hockey player, but he is an Olympic sledge hockey player.
Yeah.
It was a bum deal, but he turned a negative into a positive, and he is flourishing.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
See, I'm so excited about this event. I know. All of them.
Well, the flavors and favors, it's happening. It's October 27th, right?
Correct. And we moved it to Quality Inn because we keep growing it, so we needed more space.
Like when we were last year, it was packed.
Yep.
I remember getting there and I was like, where am I going to stand to do this? Which is a good problem to have.
One by one space. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's all I need.
We added more entertainment. There's more room for ticket, like for seats. We've got 2 separate rooms. So the food and silent auction will be in one room. So the food and
oh, you froze on me, Paula. She's gone. She's back. If you watch the show every week, you know that has to happen to at least one guest. Here we go.
This camera is going up for auction because this is just horrible.
That's all right. Well, do people got to buy tickets in advance for this, or how does it work?
Yeah, because last year we sold out, and we're already at 70 tickets sold, and we just went on sale 2 weeks ago.
All right, so let's tell everybody where they get them.
You can see that on the poster there, 519-332-0042.
Oh, great. We'll be sharing that after the show here.
And if they find us on Facebook, Cancer Society Sarnia, then they'll find all of the events and volunteering opportunities and everything. So it's our one-stop shop. especially with taking steps against breast cancer. We need more participants out there.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I could lose a few pounds, so maybe.
And it's a 1K or 5K walk
I can do the one.
and a 5K, 10K run. So you and I can do the 1K walk.
All right. I could probably talk Jennifer into it too. We just got to double check
Excellent.
the date. Do it, we will for sure.
So registration for that one is $30 for adult and $10 for kids. So,
All
and
right.
I'm sure you know Haley is registered, so she's ready to walk it.
There you go. And you got some great sponsors though too for this Flavors and Favors. I see Blue Water Power stepped up to the plate again.
Blue Water Power, Lambton Ford, Sun Life Financial. Pembina comes in with they purchase a table. Actually, I'm proud to announce that actually Noelle's Gift has purchased a table for some of their people.
Oh wow, fantastic!
So it's that crossover. It's them supporting us and us supporting them. So
we're gonna have a party.
oh, I can't wait! I can't
And
wait.
Jaga is awesome. He's been I DJ'd for years too, and he's been doing it. He was doing it 20 years before I started doing it. He's still doing it. Wow.
Wow, he must be like what 30. So
Yeah.
also, and it's everything. Donated. This event minimal cost, like not more than $500 to run this event. So
That's fantastic. So $20,000, here we come.
we're ready, and it's only $25 a ticket, and look at all you get for it.
Yeah, fantastic. Paula, I got to move on. Anything quick before we got to go?
Just thank you and thank the community. Keep on.
You're welcome. And you keep doing what you're doing. We love you for it. Take care.
I will do that. Thanks, bud.
All right. Paula McKinlay, I just love talking with her. We always have a good time. She's just good people and doing good things down there at the Canadian Cancer Society, the Flavors and Favors, the Walk and the Run. Constant battle out there to raise money for these things, these much needed organizations. And it's one of those things too, I guess you don't really appreciate it until it affects you personally. Had a personal effect in my life. I'm so grateful for what they do here in the Canadian Cancer Society. Here in Sarnia. So thanks once again to them. Get out and support them. You're going to have fun. I'm going to be there. Paula's going to be there. What more fun would you possibly need than that? And you're going to get a whole lot more JAG entertainment and supporting a great cause as well. Thanks again, Paul. All right. Well, speaking of causes and an ongoing one as well, the Inn of the Good Shepherd is constantly needing, I think when we think of the Inn of the Good Shepherd, we initially think of food. But they've got about 34, 35 different services that they offer as well, and some fundraising coming up as well. And Executive Director Miles Van is in the lobby right now, and coming up next. Hello, Miles.
Hello, David. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. It's great to have you back.
Great. Well, thank you for having me join the show again.
Oh, you're welcome. You're we talk about it all the time here. Everybody needs money and make things work, and money isn't everything, but it is up there with oxygen. You kind of need it to live and survive in this world of struggling, I guess. You deal with a lot of folks struggling, and like I said, food is obviously one of the main things you do. 40,000 pounds of food needed every month still?
Absolutely, yes. Unfortunately, about 40,000 pounds of food every month. But you're right. There's a lot of things, economics is what drives most people to us. Lack of job or full-time employment or benefits or such. And food and shelter are the main things that we do, but we've really branched out into so many other things. I kind of use the example that poverty is a lot like an iceberg. If you remember back to geography class, the iceberg, 10% floats above the water and 90% is hidden underneath. And it's that 90% that kind of rips a hole in the ship and sinks it. That's a lot like poverty. We see and we think about issues around food, around shelter, but it's a lot of other things. It's that 90% of the challenges that family faces that hide under the surface. And that's what drags them down. Maybe it's getting that winter coat for their kids so they can be warm, or the back to school supplies so that child can be like any other child and have all the tools for learning. It's things like getting your income taxes done so you get that child tax benefit.
I struggle with that.
selling the bus passes that we do at a reduced price.
Oh, really?
access to transportation so they can get to the other end of the city where the grocery stores are, rather than having to shop at the 7-Eleven. So many things like that we do.
Point.
It's that 90% of the hidden challenges we're trying to address with families.
Sure. Can we talk a minute about stigma? Because I think, when we say the end of the good shepherd, or we say poverty, I think we as humans, there's a vision that pops forth into our brain, and it's not necessarily an accurate vision, is it? Like, I think there's people.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of myths out there about poverty, or about the folks that use our services here at the inn. And we think often about, if you're using the food bank, well, it's just because you're too lazy to get a job. But the reality is, many of the families, 60 to 70% of the households we're serving, are working, or they've recently lost their job, or maybe they have a disability pension or retirement pension that they're getting. So they've worked a lifetime, they physically can't work, or they're on a pension that they just can't physically do it. So those are a lot of the folks that we're serving. And when you realize that those are the circumstances, and a lot of the families we're serving, they've got 2 or 3 part-time jobs, just trying to make ends meet. But the change in our employment demographics in this country have led us to the point where the majority of Canadians now aren't in full-time, well-paying jobs. They're in part-time jobs, minimum wage, no benefits. And they're making ends meet. They're getting by paycheck to paycheck until one of those life crisis happens. And they can be simple things. The car breaks down. You got to get it fixed to get to that part-time job.
Yeah.
Or somebody gets sick and you need medication or dental work, and you don't have benefits. So you end up using your rent or your hydro money or your food money. And then where do you turn?
The choice between, even sometimes too, at that level you're talking about, but then do I buy diapers or do I buy milk?
It's funny because we're working with I'm speaking at one of the churches on the weekend to their kids, to their children's class, because they're doing a collection of hygiene items. And that's one of the real struggles. And again, one of those myths. People sometimes think, if you don't care, you don't look very well, you don't present well, your hair is messy, you're not shaven, your clothes are dirty. If you just look after yourself, you could get a job. But the reality is those hygiene items are often the most expensive in the grocery store, along with fresh food. So when that parent goes grocery shopping and they only have so many dollars, sometimes it's a brutal choice of getting, that carton of milk for cereal for the kids or a bottle of shampoo. Well, kids' cereal is going to win out. And so they don't wash their hair as often and they don't look as tidy. Or, how expensive laundry soap is. So you end up cramming more clothes.
I do know, because my wife reminds me every time.
So clothes don't get as clean, or you don't wash them as often because you haven't got the soap. So it's things like that those gut-wrenching decisions that some of our families have to make every week.
Yeah, and it's ongoing, right? Because, let's talk about school. We just did back to school, right? And you have a lot of families with young children going to school, and boy, that stuff not cheap, and it doesn't get it. I mean, I was just at college today buying some stuff for my kids, and it was like,
we all know how expensive
crazy.
When it's
A
time to
pencil
go
is
back to
crazy
school.
expensive.
And if you're already struggling, and then you have that to deal with as well, it makes it difficult. And you end up sometimes with kids, going to school without the tools that they need for good learning.
Yeah.
And that's why I really like our back to school program. The week before school starts, kids were handing out backpacks with, it's got crayons in it for the kindergarten kids or scientific calculators for the high school students. But they've got what they need, and they're showing up that first day of school with everything they need. So they're not being pointed out as, well, they haven't got this or they haven't got that. And that lifts that burden of poverty off of those kids, and it takes a huge amount of stress off those parents.
Well, and let's we talk about the kids and stuff too, and of course they need their stuff, but let's talk about the parents for a moment, because we live in a world where a lot of parents are not together.
Yeah.
Right. So then you that adds more challenges, I guess, into transportation between parents, which school, all that sort of stuff. Do
And
You have to handle that. How do you deal with that?
And one of the things that happens in that situation is that you used to have one household income managing two households. Now that's split and they're managing two households.
Yeah.
So the money they've got available to them is certainly a lot less. So again, that's why we target a number of our programs towards kids, our children's Christmas party, our summer camp program, snack packs, so that during the summer, when there's no student nutrition program at the schools, we're distributing almost 400 snack packs a week. And those kids can come every week, get some, a snack pack with 2 or 3 snacks a day. It'll provide them, including fresh fruit, including cheese strings and yogurt tubes. So they're getting some dairy. And it's going to give them the energy to get out for active play rather than just sitting around the house because they just got the blahs because they haven't got the nutrition.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because nutrition is a big part of, hey, we always say breakfast is the most important part of the day. You got to be awake and whatnot. So you mentioned Christmas in there, and I know, from getting to know you over the years, Miles, and Christmas is obviously typically a flourishing time for the Inn of the Good Shepherd, right? Because
it's a very busy time. Yes.
Our hearts are in a better place, and but this is an all year thing, right? Like we talk about 40,000 pounds of food. You taught me to tell people, imagine an empty 20 by 40 swimming pool.
Yeah.
That's what it takes every month for the food and all the other services that you provide. Is there government help in this as well, or is it just the community?
We do get some government funding. It used to be probably about 10 years ago, about 60% of our funds came in through the government. But as the provincial government cut back on things, it reduced those dollars we got, but it also added programs. We created some programs to deal with those cutbacks. So now about 60% of our funding actually comes from the community, from donations, from businesses, individuals, fundraisers, like our brown bag lunch. So all those kinds of things help to fill that gap where the county funding we get has been very strong, and the county gets it. They understand that to have a strong community, you have to have strong families. So the county has been very good. Our government funding cutback has come through the province.
Yeah, you must hate federal elections.
Yeah, yeah,
or maybe I don't know.
Provincial elections. Yeah,
that's right. You mentioned the brown bag lunch there. I know that's something that's coming up soon, and Subway is come on board for this.
In a big way. Last year we did the brown bag lunch as for the first time as a kickoff to the fall food drive, and we were hoping, oh gosh, if we could maybe get 300 orders, we'd be pretty happy. And we ended up with well over 600 orders, and it was a tremendous success. And so Subway came to us and said, we'd like to be a part of that. We really like what that's doing. And so they're donating all the sandwiches we'll have, and they're hoping they're going to have to give us 1,000 sandwiches. So they're donating the 6-inch subs. We've got tremendous support from Sarnia Produce is donating the veggies for the lunch packs. And we've got No Frills is donating the beverages for it. So it literally almost all the ingredients are all donated. Oh, and cookies from Subway too.
They have awesome cookies.
They have great cookies. The raspberry ones are awesome.
They have raspberry cookies now?
Yeah, raspberry cheesecake cookies.
Oh, raspberry cheesecake. You had to throw that in, really? Great.
So we're taking orders now, and folks can order lunches. Go online to our website. Come on over to the Dante Club. They're great. They're providing the facility for us to be able to serve that from. And you can come in and pick up your company order. A lot of ordering companies, work employment groups, come and pick it up between 11 and 1 and go and have a great lunch. And with the support of Subway and with Sarnia Produce and No Frills and the Dante Club, it's virtually no cost for us now to put this on. All the proceeds will come to the inn.
Free is good.
Yeah. And they're great lunches. You get a sub, you get a piece of fruit, you get veggie sticks and dip, you get pop or water, and you get a cookie. So it's a great value for $10.
I was there last year, and it was great then too. So with the enhancement of Subway, getting involved with this. That's fantastic as well. And you're right. I see, like when I was there last year, I saw a lot of businesses coming in. They have lunch day for the office or something like that for the work, and that's great to see. I know you would agree, as many others organizations. The community support in Sarnia-Lambton is fantastic.
It's tremendous.
Yeah.
The companies, the businesses, people, churches, schools, our community has a really, really big heart for caring for people.
Yeah. And I know you get, what about volunteers? Like, I know you have you've got yourself a team there as well that's working hard to put all this together and make these things happen. And you got the office there, but volunteers, people that help out in the kitchen and down in the basement to organize things. Like, are you always looking for more?
Oh, of course, we're always looking for hands. We couldn't do what we do if it wasn't for the volunteers. We've got that kind of it's like a three-legged stool. We've got a great staff, we've got wonderful community support, and we have great volunteers. Pull any of those legs out and we're not so sturdy. But we have well over 400 volunteers who each month find a place in their calendar and their place in their hearts to be at the inn helping out. Some are once a month preparing a meal. Some are there once or twice a week helping in the food bank or in the warehouse, or helping with special events like our brown bag lunch or construction or whatever. So it's just really warming. And it's one of the motivations for us in doing what we're doing is because the tremendous support from the community.
Construction, when is that?
It's going to be in March this year. So we're already sending out information for teams, and some are already kind of committing to the dates. It's a really fun week for us.
Put me down for being a judge again, if you would, because it's a chore to be a judge, I'll tell you, because you go like, wow, how do you do? But it's just so amazing what they come up with and the creativity and a little friendly competition in there between some of the refineries and the schools.
Some of the engineering companies. Yeah.
That's great. Miles, thank you so much. I got to move on. Is there anything you want to add in before I let you go?
Well, just you can go online to our website, theinsarnia.ca. That'll take you to the Subway brown bag lunch poster, and you can order right online for your work team. Have a great lunch. It's a win-win. You get the day off having to make lunch, and you're going to support a lot of people in our community.
Yeah, we'll be sure to. I'll post the link after the show to everything you're talking about here. Miles, thanks so much.
Thanks,
and thanks to your team as well. Say hello to all them for me as well.
Will do. Take care.
Miles Vanny, Executive Director of the Inn of the Good Shepherd. Always nice to catch up with Miles. I'm sure we'll be having them back again soon, and we'll keep promoting what they're doing down there. There's certainly, in a perfect world, we wouldn't need the Inn of the Good Shepherd, right? But that's not happening right now, and it's an ongoing thing. And Miles and his team do work very hard to keep things going. Like I say, Christmas time, yeah, it's really busy, but they need it all year round, and not just the food. Food's important. I think I get lots of food, but it's those other items that Miles and I were talking about. The baby shampoo and the diapers and the soap and the laundry detergent, those kind of things. They always need to increase on that. Those are the real expensive items too, right? So whatever you can do to support the Inn of the Good Shepherd, they're down here. They're just down the street from me in Divine Street, Divine and Stewart, I believe. So you want to step on and down there and just offer some help. And if you don't have the stuff to give physically, you heard Miles say they're always looking for volunteers, part of the three-legged stool that needs to hold things together. So, wow, look at that. Time has flown by. Once again, I want to say thanks to all of my guests. Of course, we had the workplace group, Noeleen and Jenna and Sharon. Wow, what a fantastic thing they're doing. The workplace group, special needs. And you know what? We're just looking for work. Let's go on down and see them and check out what they're doing. They're located down on Front Street there. My dear friend, Paula McKinlay, always a pleasure to talk with her. She brings so much energy. Her and her very small team down at the Canadian Cancer Society asking for your help as well. The Walk for Life coming up. And then, of course, Flavors and Favors, which I get to be the auctioneer. This will be my third year being the auctioneer for the Flavors and Favors event. I'm excited about that. And it's so exciting to see their event has grown to where they've had to get a bigger room. And their goal is $20,000 this year from 13. And good for you for setting that, Paula. We can make that happen. Let's do it, right? So you can help them out. Get your tickets in advance for that. And then, of course, once again, Miles Vanny from the Inn of the Good Shepherd. Listen, if you're just watching it now or you're watching the replay, if you missed the beginning of the show, I just want to mention this one more time. Tonight at Skits, an important conversation, a community conversation about suicide. Hard to say that word, hard to have the conversation, needs to be had. If you are available tonight, head down to Skits. Doors will open at 6 o'clock, and the conversation will begin in a safe environment at 6:30. We'll say, you know, there can be some deep conversations or hard conversations going on. So, you know, be forewarned as to the conversation. But I think it's really important. And kudos to Danielle Cooper for creating Sarnia Speaks and the Sarnia-Lambton Suicide Committee for working together to make this happen tonight. Today is World Suicide Awareness Day. It's important. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate you. And I appreciate connecting. I appreciate the opportunity to come to your device, computer, however you're watching. I really thank it. Hey, and I wanted to give a shout out to my friend Colleen, who's in another province. I miss you, Colleen. I hope we get to meet again face to face someday and catch up on our lives. But thanks to everyone who does watch. Hey, listen, if you've enjoyed this live, give me a 10 down in the comments below. I really appreciate it. If you didn't like the show, do nothing. Send me a Facebook message privately why. And if you're watching the replay, type replay in the comments below. Wow, that was tough. I don't know why. That's all the time I got for you this week, everybody. Have a great week and an even better weekend. And I will see you next time right here on the show live. Bye for now.